So I want to thank you and welcome everybody to our latest endeavor, latest event of the city and our partners in both the nonprofit and in private sector. I don't think anybody that's here today has any question about this community's commitment to preserving our history, knowing our history, and most importantly, teaching the history of the Santa Clarita Valley to our young people. You know, I have children that are still in the elementary school system, and every year as they go through and learn more and more about Santa Clarita and our history, it really keeps that cycle going. You know, you don't realize sometimes in a community this is just your home, this is where you grow up, but you don't realize all of the historical significance that has happened certainly here in Santa Clarita. And here at William S. Hart Park and Heritage Junction is a perfect example, a living example of the history that we have here in Santa Clarita. I do want to introduce a few of our guests from. We'll wait. These trains. Yay. This is real. See, this is real history. All right, so my colleagues from the City Council, we've got Councilmember Lorraine West and Councilmember Marcia McLean are here joining us. Thank you. From the William S. Hart District Board of Trustees, President Linda Storley. Thank you. And President of the Santa Clarita Community College District, Michelle Jenkins. I saw Michelle. She pulled up next to me, so.
We do have another guy coming.
All right, well, I know she was here, so we're going to clap for Michelle. Anyways, we have several of our representatives from our legislative offices. Chris Huff from Senator Scott Wilk. Andrew Taban with Assembly Member Christy Smith. And representing Supervisor Barger, Natalie Vartanian. Also, always appreciate one of our founding council members here, Dennis Kuntz. Always be here to continue to support the community. Thank you, Dennis, for being here. We also have from our Parks Commission, Don Cruikshank. And from our Arts Commission, Susan Shapiro is here as well. Thank you. We also know that this couldn't be done without the leadership of our city staff, and our assistant city manager Frank Oviedo is here, along with a number of our city staff. So let's give them a round of applause. Also, you'll be hearing from him later, but one of our main private partner here today, Don Kimball from FivePoint. So Don, thank you. Don didn't get the memo that it's a Western, event. Casual Friday at FivePoint today, Don? Yeah, because it's not blue. It's not the blue suit today on. It says Casual Friday. And if we could, we have a number of members of the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society here. Please raise your hand so we can recognize you, because you are certainly the ones on the front lines. So if seeing these buildings, it truly is a active time capsule. These buildings located here at Heritage Junction have represented a number of key moments in our community's history, dating back as far as 1860. Some of these homes were residents to our local pioneers that helped shape our valley. Most of these structures have also, you would see a number of films and television programs that have been shot here over the decades. Even the Saugus Train Depot was home to visits of a number of presidents as they toured our country on their whistle-stop tours. All of these buildings represent a significant history of our valley, and their preservation and restoration is essential to being able to honor and remember our collective past. And as I mentioned, leading this effort is the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society that was formed in 1975, which has since that time has rescued, restored, and conserved a number of these important structures and actually facilitated their relocation here to Hart Park. The city of Santa Clarita, even though the Historical Society was formed a dozen years before the city, the city jumped right in, and over the years, we have contributed over $100,000 to assist the Historical Society with a number of their projects. To share more on the Historical Society and their role, I would like to invite up Leon Warden to share a few words and provide a little more history.
Thank you, Mayor Smythe, and thank you all for coming out to Heritage Junction, the Heritage Junction section of William S. Hart Regional County Park today. I'm Leon Warden, Vice President of the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society, and our President, Alan Pollock, regrets that he couldn't be here. This came together kind of quickly. He's a medical doctor, and he was scheduled to treat patients today, so you're stuck with me. As you come into Heritage Junction, you might not notice that the Pardee House, that's P-A-R-D-E-E, the first building right here as you enter Heritage Junction, and the four historic buildings up the canyon all have brand new 100-year metal roofs. And you're not supposed to notice. I mean, that's kind of the point. They blend in. And we actually had construction tradespeople come through here and said how they were amazed that a metal roof can be made to look authentic. And we wouldn't have been able to do that without the participation and support of the city of Santa Clarita. No way, it wouldn't have happened. As Mayor Smythe indicated, the city has been a strong partner, especially in the last few years, really under City Manager Ken Striplin and Assistant City Manager Frank Oviedo back there. And in particular, the City Council, a City Council of 5 longtime residents of our community. The city has demonstrated in far more ways than you want to hear me enumerate today, that it shares the mission of the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society to preserve the best of our past for the benefit of the future. And so now here we are in front of the Newhall Ranch House, the next in line for restoration. And this is going to be a big project. It's a 4,000 square foot building, and for nearly a century it was the headquarters of the Newhall Land and Farming Company's local Santa Clarita Valley operations. It actually started out a bit smaller than this, and it was expanded into this size in around 1895. It originally stood in what is now a Magic Mountain parking lot. And when fully restored, it's going to stand as a testament to the transformation of the Valencia area in particular from farmland into a truly awesome town where young families have come home and grown and prospered. And I'm not being facetious, for what it's worth, my parents brought me home to Valencia 50 years ago this year. And it's been a little while. I grew up in Valencia, and I think anybody who's been around that long knows and remembers that the Newhall Land and Farming Company was always a big participant, both financially and in human capital, in just myriad nonprofits that sprang up to meet a growing community's growing social service needs. And in 1990, actually, it was a partnership of Newhall Land and the brand new city of Santa Clarita that rescued this building behind me from demolition. Newhall Land donated the building. The city kicked in some funding so that we could move it here. Supervisor Mike Antonovich and the County Parks Department cleared the way. Catherine Barger, well, it was 30 years ago. Catherine Barger was a college intern in Supervisor Antonovich's office, and now she's our wonderful county supervisor and a longtime lover of Hart Park. So, dial up the clock 30 years, and once again, it's a partnership of the city of Santa Clarita and Newhall Land's parent company, FivePoint, that are kickstarting the renovation of this building by providing funding for a brand new 100-year metal roof, just like the others. It all starts with a good roof. And I want to point out, this is not just some kind of one-off for FivePoint by any stretch of the imagination. You know, FivePoint inherits Newhall Land's legacy of community participation that it set out before it. And you might know, well, I'm sure everybody here today knows of FivePoint's commitment to bolstering the economic vitality of our town through its leadership on the boards of the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Corporation. What you might not know is that FivePoint is mindful of our local history. You know, the people who run FivePoint's Valencia operations live right here in our community, some of them for quite a long time. And for one thing, they've established a very important partnership that's been going on for a number of years now with our local Native American tribal representatives, the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians, to preserve our indigenous cultural heritage, particularly on FivePoint's Valencia expansion property that's now under construction west of I-5. You know, in that regard, FivePoint has set a pretty high bar, and frankly, it's a model that all of our local developers would do well to emulate. With that, I want to bring up the Historical Society board member who's been ramrodding these restoration projects for us. That's City Councilwoman Lorene West.
Thank you, Leon. And I just want to thank everybody that's here today. It's a remarkable opportunity for all of us to share in the beginning of an amazing journey. It took a long time. Had it not been for that very loud train that went by back in the 1800s, we probably all wouldn't be here. So here we are, right next to that very loud train. But that's what started us back in the 1800s, that and first gold and first commercial oil. And this house stands as a testament. This is, as was said, an over 4,000 square foot Victorian home. And Henry Mayo Newhall was the guy that had about half the valley. On the other side was Mitchell family. And today you're looking at a structure that is one of the last and best in LA County of its type. It deserves to be honored. It needs to be restored properly. And we're starting with the most important part, which is its hat, its roof. And that is not an easy task. It took over a year just to figure out what material we would use and who would do it. So first on the material we used. As Leon pointed out, it's metal roof. And metal roofs don't usually look like that. So we went through a lot of samples. I worked with Tom Cole and we just kept going through different samples. Anyway, finally, a manufacturer came out, Isaiah Industries person, and they are back, I believe, in Ohio. And they came out with their samples, and I looked at the samples and didn't quite like them, but he said they could make them look properly and get any color we needed. So I took a piece of the roofing. It's about that long, about that wide, and I put it on the floor, had on my Western boots, and I stomped all over it really hard, just as hard as I could, and it held up. And that was the whole point, because these have to last. This is our history. This is who we are. I'm very thrilled to say that we, after a great deal of work, met Howard and Sons, which is Dustin Howard, who's here with us today. Hello, Dustin, and with his lovely wife. And he is an artist with roofing, has done an amazing job. Because when you take the old shingle roofs off, there's a lot of damage underneath. And we are piece by piece restoring them, treating the wood, making them so that they will last permanently. So we want to thank Dustin. And we've had a lot of support from Burtick in the removal of the debris. I know that doesn't sound like much, but if you ask Dennis Ferner, who's here, he will tell you that's a pretty big deal, because whatever we're replacing, what we're taking off has to go somewhere. So that's a really important part, and he's helped us keep the Junction clean, because we have school children here all the time. So where do you take your kids when you want to teach them history anymore? Well, you bring them here. Or you, in the future, you'll take them to the restored Pine Hill Ore Refinery, which the city is now beginning, or you'll take them out to Mentryville, which the Conservancy has. A lot of really neat things. But this project, it takes a village. And it takes the village to do this for our future and for our history. And that village is you. It's the city of Santa Clarita, and most importantly, FivePoint, who has been dedicated to preservation of historical things all the way through. And I'm very, very thrilled that they will be part of bringing this to life. I eventually hope to see young ladies, bridesmaids, and they'll be on the steps and they'll be wearing their wedding dresses and have their frilly little bridesmaids with them, and they will think it's very special to be in front of an 1864 Victorian house, fully restored, and the grandeur of it, Scarlett O'Hara and all that. That's what that looked like, and we are thrilled to be moving ahead. All I can say is there's been a few people along the way who have just been invaluable. Marcelo Cairo of Inertia Engineers, structural engineer, he's on our board. He's waving there. And I want him to stay happy because we have a lot of work left to do. And this is a lot of work. So I'm going to need all of you. But today, I am so proud to be able to acknowledge Don Kimball and FivePoint for their generous donation and to step up to save this treasure, to bring it back to life, and to do it in such a way that it will last at least 100 years, if not longer, and to make this available for all of our community forever. And I am thrilled. I've known Don a really long time, and I'm thrilled. He's a man of our honor. He has kept his word, and he has helped bring this to fruition for the city of Santa Clarita, who's a partner in this, and the Historic Society. And it's taking everybody to do it. So thank you, city. Thank you, FivePoint, and thank you, Historical Society. Mayor.
So I think that's a perfect segue that the bridal party after they get married at City Hall can then come here now that we have ceremonies at City Hall. 259 City if you want to schedule those. But again, Councilmember West said it as well as you could that we couldn't do this without a public-private partnership. But that's also what Santa Clarita is all about. And I know that our state representatives can attest to that when they talk to their bosses and they see, or their colleagues, and they talk about how their communities differ from other parts of the state. And the collaboration that we have here in Santa Clarita really does set a standard for other communities. And with that, I'd like to invite Don Kimball to come on up and say a few words. And again, we could not be doing this without his leadership and FivePoint to make this happen. Thank you, Don.
Put mine in there.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, good afternoon. Leon, thank you for your very kind words. It's really an honor and a privilege to be here. A lot of what I was going to say has already been said by Leon. First off, though, I do want to say that this really is a true public-private partnership. That's the way we view it. FivePoint is here today. Newhall was here for many years in the past. In fact, we have a history of being out in this community, in this valley now for almost 150 years, if you can believe that. So again, it's an honor for us to be here today. What became known as the Newhall Ranch House, as Leon pointed out, at one point in time, it started its life in 1865 back on what is now Magic Mountains parking lot, part of our property and our land holdings at that time. It was then expanded over time, and probably about 100 years ago was the headquarters to our company. So when the call to action came through that said, we need a new roof for the Newhall Ranch House, we jumped into action. We said, this is really something that we want to be a part of. And I'm glad to be here today to say that we were able to make that commitment come through. And, 30 years ago, we worked with the Historical Society, and we were able to move this beautiful building here behind me into Heritage Junction. I know that took probably 2 days of slow moving and a couple of nights to make that happen. But I have to tell you, as I was sitting there next to Sandy Sanchez from our office, little details many of you may not even notice when I was looking at the doors here. If you look at the doors going into the home, there's an O and a C. That O and the C actually relates to the branding of the cattle that we had on our ranch going back to the late 1870s. So Henry Mayo Newhall purchased that brand as part of a cattle operation that he acquired. So there's little details in the history that just need to be preserved for everybody to see going forward that's just so important. So for FivePoint, even as we help divine the future of the Santa Clarita Valley, we never really want to forget the past. And remember those that were essential in creating what is here today. We really have one of the most desirable communities you could possibly live in California. It gets recognized all the time. Great city, great community. And we think it's really important for us to preserve the history for future generations so they can understand and appreciate what really is here. We're proud to be here today and contribute to that cause. I think you know we're going to be making a little bit of a donation today. We have a very large check in terms of size that we will be presenting to the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society. I think what's important here, again, in this whole theme today of a public-private partnership, this is the city stepped up. They put up $25,000. And I'm here to tell you today, if you didn't already know, I think you probably do, that we said we'll match that. We'll put in $25,000 as well. I believe there was others that committed to this great cause. And then we stand here today making this a reality that this new roof is going to get on the Newhall Ranch House, and it's going to live for another 100 years for everybody to enjoy here. Last parting comment, we can hold up this big check and show everybody, is really proud to be here. I've been in this community for about 34, 35 years. Been with FivePoint, Newhall before that. For now, probably close to about 34 to 35 years. And really proud to stand here, shoulder to shoulder, City of Santa Clarita, the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society, and really the rest of you, the community at large. That's what we do in this community. That's what makes Santa Clarita great. And we all should be proud, and we need to do what we're doing here today, protect that heritage, preserve that heritage, tell that story to our children going forward and to our grandchildren going forward. And I really appreciate, quite frankly, the opportunity for us to participate in this event today. So thank you. We will present the check. And I just got a different order.
All right, so if we could have our representatives of the Historical Society and the city to come, we'll do the photo. Don, we've got the check here, and we'll make sure that I don't know how you cash a check of that size, but we'll give it a shot. So
once you put it in the ATM.
ATM. All right, come on.
Thank you.
Before we wrap up, we do have some recognitions and certificates. And again, I appreciate Don's comments that this is a partnership. As he mentioned, the city is also contributing $25,000 to help for the restoration. So, how much are you asking for the Hart districts? What the Hart districts contribution is going to be for the education? Just check it. All right. All right. Well, if we could. So first, again, we have representatives of our legislators here to do some certificates, but the city has them as well. So Don, if you want to come on up for real quick, we'd like to. Sandy, we gotta wait. Come on up, Don. Come on up. Yeah, absolutely. All right. On behalf of the city, we want to offer you our certificate as well.
Very nice.
Yep. We've got just there. All right. So I hope you all saw that for the ledge staff. We're going to go from this side for the photos. All right. And then we also have one for this Historical Society. So I don't know if Leon, if you're the,
Board members, this way.
all right. Come on up. Leon. You guys stay on up here because we've got others. All right. So, all right. Yeah. So if you guys want to stay up here, because we have a few other recognitions. So first from Senator Wilkes' office, Chris Huff.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Chris Huff. I work for State Senator Scott Wilk, and I am thrilled to be here. And first of all, I'd like to thank the City of Santa Clarita and FivePoint for their generosity. But most importantly, I'd like to be here to honor the Historical Society. Senator Wilk believes that preserving our history is so important, so he's very appreciative of your ongoing efforts to keep our history alive here in our local community. So thank you on behalf of Senator Scott Wilk.
All right, so we got a couple more. Andrew Taban for the Assembly Member Christy Smith's office.
I'll make my comments very brief because I think everyone's a bit toasty. It is an honor to be here representing the office of Assemblywoman Christy Smith. We wanted to thank, we have three here, the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society, FivePoint, and the City of Santa Clarita just for your commitment to preserving the history of our great city. So on behalf of the Assemblywoman, thank you.
Everybody, one photo.
One photo. Here, and we get to hold the city one.
Here, that's for you. You hold that.
Okay. Don, come, get in right here. Okay.
Alrighty, everyone right here, ready? 1, 2, 3.
What do you think we'll look like 100 years from now?
We're going to look very tan after this. Wait, we're not done yet. You thought you were done. We still have one more. So, Natalie from Supervisor Catherine Barger's office.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be here on behalf of Supervisor Catherine Barger. I just want to thank and congratulate the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society for your continuous efforts to preserve our community. As Leon mentioned, the supervisor is a huge fan and supporter of Hart Park. Thank you to FivePoint, Don, Sandy, for your generous donation, and thank you to the City of Santa Clarita as well. So on behalf of 5th District LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger, thank you and congratulations.
Dustin, come on up. Come on up, Dustin.
I have one for the city. Mayor.
Mayor, you want to get in here too?
The Reed's representing
Got it.
Wait, get in the photo. Here.
Dennis, get up here. Come on, man. Come on, Dennis. Come on. Get up here. Come on.
Stand right up here by Don.
Alright, everyone right here, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Wait. One, no, I'm just kidding. All right. You guys, I know, before anybody else faints. All right. Well, that concludes our the official part of our afternoon, and I believe there are tours available if anyone wants to. You took the picture with the check.
That's why I didn't see it.
That's right. All right. So again, thank everybody. Thank you all very much for coming, and we look forward to being here once the roof is completed, and on to the next project. Thank you all very much.
Well, you know, it didn't take a brain surgeon to make it.
Go ahead.
It did. I didn't dance with Nixon, no. Reagan and John Wayne.
Just stand up here and I'm gone. Right there.